What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another masterclass. Today, we're going to do a quick masterclass on letting go of control so you can gain back more control. So, if you're a high achiever, if you're a high level professional, or even maybe you're just a parent who cannot seem to let go of control. Now, this is typically going to be if you're struggling with control in relationships, in careers, in management, in family. This is going to be for you specifically because I'm sure you're noticing that the more and more you try to control, the more you feel out of control, the more anxious you feel, and the more you worry, even though this control is coming from a place of wanting safety. It's not working out, right? So today I'm going to show you how to change that so you can free yourself, you can get back in the flow, and you can regain so much energy and brain clarity. Let's dive in, guys. All right, how to let go of control in order to gain control. Now, I want to give you some inspiration here. So, I'm going to share with you my own personal story first before we dive into it. So, my areas of control was in two areas. So, I'm going to share with you kind of how it worked here. So, for me, when it came to control in my life, the first area that I struggled with was relationships. And then the second area that I struggled with is trust in the unknown. So what happened for me when it came to my relationships is plain simple, I just got cheated on. And when I got cheated on, I totally lost my trust in people. I could no longer trust in other people. So therefore, what that would come off as an insecurity, and I'd be always anxious in new relationships, and I could never fully trust them. And that would just cause me to overthink, to have anxiety, to always worry, and just wasn't healthy at all. So that was the first area that I struggle with. The second area is trusting in the unknown. Now, I'm a business owner, and one of the biggest pieces of business is that you have to have courage. You have to step into the unknown and trusting that things are going to unfold for you. Like they always say, it's like you're jumping off a cliff and you have to build the airplane as you're going down, and you got to trust that you're going to make it happen. So, those were the two biggest things for me. Now, my biggest fears, obviously, relationships is not wanting to be, cheated on and get stabbed in the back again, right? That was the biggest fear behind that one. The second one is trusting in the unknown. That one for me was the fear of losing everything. Was losing everything, all my money, all of my life, like just going homeless, going broke. That was my biggest fears there. Now, one of the biggest revelations that I had here is that, you cannot lack trust. Okay? You can't lack trust. You can't. You either trust in something or you don't trust in something, but you never lack trust. So this whole idea completely shifted my way of thinking because once I realized that, oh, well, I'm just putting my trust in more that I cannot trust in people rather than I can trust in people. And the reason why I was doing that is based off one experience that, yeah, it hurt, but does that mean everyone's like that? No. And if you believe in manifestation, if you believe in, well, not even believe, but if you know about how we work as an energetic being, your frequency, your vibration, you know that if you're emitting, if you're putting out a frequency of lack, of control, right, of fear, that's what you're going to keep getting over and over and over and over again. And that's the biggest paradox, right? Is like, I'm scared to trust because if I do fully trust, then what if I get hurt? But the beauty behind it is that when you do fully trust and you let go, it's all okay. It's all okay. And you keep trusting and you come in with the mindset that I'm going to keep my trust and you can act and do whatever you want, but I'm going to keep my trust. And if you do the things that you do, well, then that just helps me filter you out of my life, but it's not going to change my trust in people. Right. So it really helps kind of change the game, help reframe things. So once I was able to build this up is building trust. I mean, with different relationships, different people, building that trust back in people, and then rewiring my mind, my belief systems. One of the limiting beliefs that I had was, again, I can't trust people, right? The world is scary. I had to rewire those limiting beliefs because obviously they're not true. But if you know about neuroscience, your core beliefs produce those thoughts, which produce the emotions that you have, which produce the actions over time, which give you the results in your life. So once I was able to rewire that, and with a lot of practice, I was able to finally gain back that trust and let go of control. And I'm telling you, it's been so freeing and so healthy as well. The next thing was when trusting in the unknown. And for me, when it came to changing up businesses, changing things up in my life, I was just so petrified. I was so scared. But the reason why is because I was focused on things not working out. Plain and simple. I was so focused on what if things don't work out? What if this happens? What if that happens? And I wasn't trusting in things working out for me for the best. So I had to recognize this, right? Why am I deciding to trust in things not working out rather than going all in and trusting that things will work out? And this is sometimes a switch, right? Because when you just touch your toes in the water and you don't jump fully in, well, you're probably going to fail. But when you do jump all the way in and you give yourself no plan B, you're probably going to make it. And that's one of the hardest parts people have, right? Is that they fail because they don't fully trust and they don't fully go all in. They just dip here and there. You got to be fully committed. Go all in. So that was the biggest shift for me as well, is recognizing that I was choosing the trust that things were not going to work out because I was feeding my fears at the time, okay, fear of losing all my money and what that would mean for me, rather than trusting that, no, I'm good enough and I can figure this out and I will figure this out. And once I fully, I'm telling you, it was like a spiritual moment. Once I fully let go of control and said, you know what? I'll be honest, I don't have all the answers anymore. I don't have all the answers right now. I'm completely in the unknown. But one thing I do know is I know myself and I trust myself and I know that I'm going to get out of this rut. I'm going to figure it out. And once I fully accepted my truth, like this is where I'm at, I don't have the answers. I really don't have full control. It was like a whole entire switch happened. I felt the most control in my life. I trusted in myself, which means I trusted in my actions, I trusted in my feelings, I trusted in my thoughts, and I followed that path. And I'm telling you, miracles happen out of nowheres. Things came in to support me in my lowest times that I never thought would even be possible before. But when I was able to open up that door to those possibilities, open up my focus to those possibilities, and get out of this fear state, it's like magic came into my life. So I hope some of you resonate with that because I'm telling you, it really is beautiful. And let me share with you kind of the science and process behind it. We're not going to dig too deep into the science, but I'll give you a good understanding of it all. So, number one is let's go over the cost of control. What is it costing you right now to control everything? Number one is you're definitely going to be feeling drained. Your energy is being spent all over the place, right? Think of it like this is you right here, and all your energy is going outwards at all these things, right? So relationships, family, you got your work life, you got your love life, you've got your friends, right? You got all these things that you're constantly worried about. Imagine if you could just cut all those out, how much energy you would get back for yourself. Be a game changer. Number two is you're probably worried and anxious all the time, right? Because this is a fake safety mechanism, right? The illusion of control, what it actually is you're basically doing this. So you're basically doing this. Okay, here's us, and we're basically building a prison around ourselves. And this is what we feel is safe, right? And what that means is repetition. It's consistent, right? It's known. So when we hold on to control, we know like, hey, everything is safe, quote unquote, safe if I stay in this bubble. But here's the crazy thing, guys, is the unknown is still there. This blue right here, that's the unknown. That's what you're so scared of. It's right there still, right? But the animal brain, the ego, it tries to control everything to create this sense of itself, to keep in this box of be like, okay, I'm safe here. If I just keep doing the same things over and over again, then I'm going to be safe. But here's the thing, things can change overnight like that. You're not actually in control as much as you think. And this is where you have to let go. Because when you're willing to let go of this box, right? When you're willing to let go of this box and trust in yourself, you're fully in the unknown. That's where true change happens. That's where true magic happens. That's where you switch off from brain fog and not being able to think clearly to having new creativity, a new imagination, new possibilities come into your life. And imagine if you're a business owner, how much faster you will grow if you're able to do that. Right? Maybe right now you're trying to control all of your employees. You're not willing to switch things up and you've been doing the same things over and over again, right? And maybe you're getting some slow growth or stagnant. Imagine if you stepped into the unknown If you fully put trust in yourself, in your team, and you stepped into that unknown, all the new ideas, the new things, the new possibilities would come up, right? Because think of it, most people do the opposite. They do the control aspect and they get to where they want to go. So imagine if you did the opposite, how much more powerful that could possibly be. So that's the next thing too, right? Is we're always worried, always anxious. What if? What if? What if? Here's the magical word to what if, guys. And when it comes to worry and anxiety, so what? So what this doesn't work out? I will be okay. So what this fails? It'll be another path forwards. So what this happens to my life? I'm strong enough to get through it. Stop feeding what if and let's start feeding so what. That's a key right there that you want to remember. So moving onwards. Okay, I just have to make sure we're recording still. So moving onwards. So the next thing is, again, you're going to push people in your team away because nobody likes being micromanaged. Nobody likes being controlled. I remember telling my mom this nonstop. I hate being controlled. Stop telling me what to do. Do not tell me what to do. But she's coming from that loving, beautiful place, right? That's what it usually always comes from is I just want safety. And I only know how to keep things safe if I hold on to control and try to control it all. But you got to understand that when you do that to people, you're going to push them away. Okay. Your team isn't going to feel respected. They're not going to feel like you have trust in them. Your family, your relationships, they're going to feel like you don't trust in them. So you have to be able to let go of control. See how much this is costing us? Because remember this, control isn't power. Control is not power. It's actually fear pretending to be power. It's fear in disguise. So why do we do this, right? Why do we do this? Number one is typically from childhood. Maybe in childhood you had unpredictable situations, so you couldn't trust. Maybe you couldn't trust in other people. Maybe you couldn't trust in how things unfolded. So you saw that as this is unpredictable. I need to try to take some sort of control, right? Maybe it's a worry. Maybe you're scared of losing people and you don't want to be alone. So you feel that you need to control everything to keep them in your life. Right? A lot of this can come from simple childhood situations that happen where we form beliefs around it. And this is what I help my high level clients do is rewire those instantly so they can change their future. But a lot of this does come from that, is that childhood. Next thing is just not overall feeling safe, right? The idea of control. Do you think you would need to control everything if you knew 100% that you were safe in every single situation? No, right? You wouldn't need to control everything because the whole reason why we control comes down to safety. Safe and security, right? Keeping the known. So it's a big shift there, right? Realizing that you already are safe. You already are safe. But that not feeling safe, that's a huge piece. Next is we're just putting our trust in the wrong stuff, right? And this could be programmed. Maybe you're programmed at a young age to believe that the world is scary, that people are not good, that you need to try to control everything because you cannot put your trust in other people. Right? These are whole things that we just kind of dump our bucket of trust into different areas. But remember, guys, your belief system has always supported you. This is going to be another key for you. If your beliefs have always supported you in every single thing that you believe that you can't trust people, that you believe people are evil, that you believe that you need to control everything in order to make it work, right? And those beliefs have always supported you. What makes you think that changing your beliefs, you're not going to be support with those beliefs? That if I trust people, things will work out. I can trust people. I can trust my partner. What makes you think that you can't switch your beliefs and believe in that? Because that's going to serve you a lot better. So what part of us would be resistant against that? And this is the question I want you to ask yourself. If I let go of control, what am I afraid that would happen? Blank. Next is create an illusion of certainty. Okay, so again, like I showed you in that box, is we create an illusion of certainty. But remember, nothing is ever certain. That's for sure. And what happens is we control everything, which then causes us to burn out. We get tired and things fall apart and we actually start to lose control. Isn't that a paradox? Yes, the shift, the paradox behind this all. So, number one is more control equals actually more resistance. Why? Because you're not allowing. You're not getting into the flow of things, right? You're knit and gritting your way there. It's a lot of resistance. It's like instead of going down the stream in the river, you're trying to swim up the stream because it's like, no, no, no. It's safe if I go up the stream. I was already up there, so let's just keep going up there, up there, up there, up there. And everyone else is like, man, like let's just go down the river. Let's just keep floating, right? But it's like, no, It's the unknown. I don't know what's down the river. Let's keep swimming upstream. No, thank you. Let's swim downstream, right? Let's go with the flow. So more control equals more resistance. Isn't that funny? The next is, and just give an example, right? When let's say, your partner, your teammates, or whatever it may be, they want to do something and you couldn't go with it, right? And then you try to control, you kept checking in, you kept checking the messages, and you're anxious the whole time. You felt all this resistance, and then it ended up being okay, right? So imagine if you just let go of control and you trusted how much more flow that would have been. The next thing that we want to go over is understanding the frequency of fear, right? If you look into how the quantum field works, manifesting, how you're an energetic being, you'll realize that if control comes from a place of lack of trust, which comes from a place of I don't feel safe, which means fear, right? It's fear, 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 fear. So if you're emitting a frequency, if you're coming from a place of fear, of being scared, you're going to keep getting more and more of that because we attract what it is that we are. So that's the next one is the frequency of fear. You're emitting that frequency out, which is all you're focused on, which is all you're allowing in your reality, which is all you're getting over and over again. The next one is again, remember, no flow equals only force. If there's no flow, then there's force, right? That's the paradox. So remember this, winners always trust in the unknown. If you look at the greats, Elon Musk, the founder of Apple, Jeff Bezos, do you think they saw the entire vision? Even look at a successful family, right? A successful family who made it through, who made it work, who has kids who grown up and done incredible things. Do you think they always knew the next steps? Do you think they always knew what was going to happen? No. But they did it anyways. They trusted in the unknown. So here's the change. Okay. Here's the change is number one, trust switch. I want you to go over where am I putting all of my trust? Okay. So let's say you have a trust bucket, right? So you have this bucket of trust, and here's the top. Where is that trust going into? Are you dumping that bucket into fear and why things are not going to work out? Or are you dumping that bucket into why things are going to work out? Because remember, like I said before, your belief systems will always support you. So what are you believing in? Yourself or not yourself, right? The world or not the world? Next one is rewiring the fears and the beliefs. So if you go in my past trainings, it'll show you exactly how to do this to rewire and define those core beliefs. Basically, you have to ask yourself questions like, what would I have to believe to be true about myself in order to not be able to let go of control? And these questions, what they do is allow you to put yourself in a higher perspective, to observe your situation without judgment, to help you get to the root of it. Because remember, the brain only does, like, you weren't born into this world not trusting, right? You weren't born this way. This was programmed into you from an event, people, your past, whatever it may be. So it doesn't need to stick. So you can actually let it go. And once you find the core reason of why it's there in the first place, once you recognize that it's not needed, there's no need to keep acting and being that way. Next is go down the rabbit hole of why. So that connects with rewiring the fears and the beliefs, right? So I am I am scared of letting go of control. And the reason why I choose to be this way is because I am scared because I can't trust. And I can't trust because blank. And that is because this. And if I do trust, then I'm scared that blah. And just dissect, just self observe and reflect and really dive deep, and you will get some beautiful answers there. Next is you got to get your nervous system safe, right? You want to make sure that your body is safe in the unknown. So if you're working through this, it's really good to go through like a morning routine of affirmations, breath work, getting your nervous system on track. So that way you do feel safe overall. And then next is trust in how things unfold. You got to trust in how things unfold. So lastly, let's go over this is the animal brain. Okay. When we're coming from fear, we're allowing the animal brain to take control. But the animal brain, it's not its job to figure out the how and how everything's going to turn out in the unfolding, right? It actually will shut that down. So you have your higher self, and this is the self that can kind of recognize patterns. It has clarity, it has flow, intuition. That's where those things really come about. But they won't come about. You won't have that clarity when you're stuck in the animal brain, because the animal brain is only going to focus on control and safety, right? Only wants safety. It only wants safety. So there's not going to be much change. If not, there's not going to be much as fast of growth when it comes to your goals and whatever that you want in your life. Okay? This puts you in the beta state. a high beta state, which means control. But when you let go and you put yourself in the higher self and you trust in the unknown, you let go of that control there, you'll gain back so much more control because you trust in the path. You can put those tasks on other people. You have more clarity, intuition. You can make better decisions moving forwards because you're trusting how things unfold. You're no longer going to feel so stuck in doing the same thing over and over again. Okay, you'll be a lot more aware, which means you'll catch something if it does go wrong and you can change it. That is the alpha/theta state where you notice patterns. You're in the flow state. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is the training for today on how to let go of control so you can gain back control. I promise you, it will be so freeing when you're willing to discover what it's actually like to get back in the flow, to trust in the unfolding of things. Your life will change entirely. Now, if this training has helped you, please leave a like down below. Make sure you subscribe for some more, and I will see you guys on the next training.